Right now, I'm challenging myself to see if I can make 128 Regulation H teams that are each different from one another over the course of 128 days. Why 128, you might ask? At the end of the 128 days, we're going to do something special where we battle every team against each other in a single elimination bracket to see which team emerges on top. There will be some competitively strong teams, there will be some gimmick teams, and there will be some probably a good number of goofs and gaffs in there, so if you want to follow through to the end, subscribe so that you can keep up with each day. But without further ado, let's move on to day 20. Alright everybody, welcome back to another video, and in today's video, we are going to be going over a team that I have hastily slapped together, and I really just don't know what to do with this team, if I'm being honest. Like, I came to the conclusion that since we have Sarilege, Sableye, and Ditto on this team, that this team is half purple. But that's about it. I don't really have any other kind of thing to unite all of these Pokemon together. It's just that half of the team is purple and 3 of the other Pokemon, other than Amoonguss, are Pokemon that I kind of wanted to put on display. And so they're here. And yeah. So we're going to try and discuss this team here, but don't get the wrong idea if you feel like all of these Pokemon would be really good independent of each other and don't really work together, because that's kind of what we're looking at. But starting off with Sarilege, we have a okay Sarilege set with its signature move Bitter Blade, which is 90 base power, but heals you for 50% of the damage that you did. And we have the Close Combat for type coverage in order to hit things that we can't hit with Bitter Blade. And we have the Bulk Up to make it so that we can stay on the field for a long time. And we do have a good amount of speed investment to be considered bulky. However, Sarilege with the Bulk Up and a good Terra type of Grass and Flash Fire is going to be able to keep Sarilege on the field against a pretty good number of opponents. And with our Clear Amulet, we won't be getting our attack drops, so we can keep Sarilege at the +1 from the Bulk Up pretty easily. Next up, we have Sableye, and this Sableye is a screen Sableye with only one screen, actually, just the light screen. But we also have the Disable and we have the Encore in order to disable Encore Lock opponents, where we try to get them using a move like Fake Out or Protect, and then we can Encore them into the Protect, and then we can disable them from using the Protect, so that way they end up struggling, hopefully, at the very end of the battle, and that can really help a lot of our other Pokemon get set up, or create spots where we can deal damage effectively. And lastly, on Sableye, we just had the Will-O-Wisp for just burning things and decreasing their physical attack and maybe dealing some damage over time. Next up, we have Amoonguss, because Amoonguss is just good overall. A good redirector for our Pokemon that want to get set up, as we do have the Rage Powder, but we can also put things to sleep with Spore, and we have the Pollen Puff to heal Pokemon once they are set up to make sure that they don't get taken off the field, and we have the Clear Smog in order to get rid of opponent stat boost. As well as we'll be using the Regenerator ability on Amoonguss in order to make it so that it can come back and then come back out over time and get a pretty decent chunk of health with its Regenerator ability. And Covert Cloak will keep us from getting faked out, and Terra Water just gives you a lot of good resistances on Amoonguss. Next up, we have Ditto, who might be the simplest Pokemon that we ever discussed, because Ditto is just going to do Ditto things by getting its Imposter off, and since we have the Choice Scarf, we are guaranteed to always be faster than the Pokemon that we are impostering. And Ditto is usually a Pokemon that's better in restricted formats because it allows you to imposter very strong restricted legendary Pokemon. However, Ditto has to come up eventually in one of these videos just because of variability reasons, so we're putting Ditto here. Not that I don't think that there's reasons that you can't run Ditto, it's just Ditto's kind of hard to use whenever the power of the format isn't very high. Next up, we have Conkeldurr, and Conkeldurr is a pretty simple Conkeldurr set. We have the Drain Punch, which will heal us over time, and we have the Mach Punch for dealing good priority fighting type damage, as well as we have the Knockoff for type coverage, and we have the Wife Guard in order to save Pokemon that we are getting set up on this team from spread attacks, which otherwise would knock them out. If there was like 2 spread attackers on the field, we have a pretty safe Wide Guard. And then, in order to make Conkeldurr pretty strong physically, we have its Flame Orb and Guts combo, which we've done quite a few times at this point, and we're using Terra Steel to negate a lot of our weaknesses. And lastly, we just decided to slap in Azumarill on this team because I wanted another setup Pokemon since we have so many Pokemon designed to help set up Pokemon, and there's maybe a better setup Pokemon than Azumarill, but we haven't used Azumarill yet, so Azumarill is here. And Azumarill a bit of a clunky set as we're trying to get off our Belly Drum and then eat our Citrus Berry so that we're at least at 75% health, but at max attack with Belly Drum. And we can Play Rough into our opponents with super strong Play Roughs. We can Aqua Jet into our opponents because of our huge power ability, which will double our attack stat. So yeah, that's the basic gist of all of these individual Pokemon. Let's just get into some battles. Alright, so it seems like the opponent is using a pretty wide variety of Mons here. They technically have a Fire, Water, Grass core with 2 fire types being Blaziken and Talonflame. They have the Greninja, who we used in the last video, and I really did not like at all. And they have Serperior, who I do like a lot, so the Greninja and the Serperior kind of balance each other out. But they also have the Donphan. This is all open team sheets, by the way. And, yeah, they had some pretty funky sets, but I think they were trying to go for a priority move theme, except for Serperior, who doesn't have any of those. But let's just let the battle start off, and they decided to start Talonflame and Scizor, as I decided to start Azumarill and Amoonguss, because I want to get Azumarill set up against most of their team. They just go for Brave Bird into Amoonguss, and they X-Scissor into Amoonguss, and Amoonguss lives that, which is pretty nice. As we get the Belly Drum with Azumarill, and we get to eat our berry. And I could have Aqua Jetted Talonflame here, but the Talonflame was Quick Guard, so I decided not to do that. I Rage Powder with Amoonguss to redirect at least the one attack, and we get to redirect the Bullet Punch. As Brave Bird comes out from Talonflame, not deciding to Quick Guard, I Play Roughed into Talonflame just to get rid of it so they couldn't Quick Guard again. And then out comes Greninja onto the field as I send out Ditto, and Ditto copies Greninja, but I decided to swap back into Conkeldurr since I didn't really want Ditto to be on the field as we Aqua Jet, but Scizor is actually Sash, which is a little annoying as Greninja turns into the Psychic type, and Conkeldurr at least gets the Guts Burn, as now Ditto is going to be copying Scizor since it copies the Pokemon directly in front of it. And I tried to Bullet Punch into Greninja just to get good damage, but Conkeldurr gets taken down by the extra sensory, which I still had Terra, so I really should have used Terra Steel on Conkeldurr in order to live that attack. But Conkeldurr goes down, and they're just gonna Water Shuriken down Ditto here, and we also see that their last Pokemon in the back, once Greninja goes down here. We also see that their last Pokemon in the back is Donphan, who Scizor can, or Ditto, I guess, actually cannot beat, but it's good that we at least played out the battle, because we have to see what Pokemon they brought in the back last time, so that we can better adjust for Game 2. So Game 2 rolls around, and I'm not actually quite sure what to adjust to. I think I just decided to lead Ceruledge this time, since they have a lot of Pokemon that reach to Ceruledge, and Ditto gets to come in and gets to copy Scizor, but Serperior is protecting, and I'm protecting with Ceruledge, because I really don't want them to go Terra Water with Serperior, and then just attack into Ceruledge, because that would probably do a pretty good amount of damage to us. But Ditto as Scizor has a lot of presence here, because Scizor and Serperior can't really hurt it. They decide to swap in Donphan, and they swap in Serperior, and I wanted to double into Scizor this turn, but Serperior gets off its Leaf Storm, so it's now +2, as we Bitter Blade Donphan, and Donphan deals some Rocky Helmet damage back to us, and we get the crit on X-Scissor, which doesn't end up mattering. But I decide, since Serperior is going to be boosting itself, Ditto is going to be very important here, because we can use Ditto to copy the Serperior later, and as long as we can get rid of their Pokemon that can beat their Serperior, then we're going to be in a really good spot. So Ceruledge is kind of the bait right now, as we try to get rid of everything else. Ceruledge is going to protect, as they try to Ice Shard into it and Leaf Storm into it to get rid of it. Amoonguss is going to Rage Powder, and Serperior is going to fall Predator to that, since it's no longer a Grass type, but it is going to at least get the boost, as Donphan now goes down, and that's one thing that can't Ice Shard us whenever we come into Serperior. But Talonflame comes in, and we really need to get rid of Talonflame. They Brave Bird into Amoonguss, and I think they Leaf Storm, and yeah, Leaf Storm does enough damage to Ceruledge here, which is a little awkward, but now their Serperior is max attack, and Talonflame has damaged itself because of the Brave Bird, so Talonflame no longer has priority. As we swap Ditto into the right slot and it becomes Serperior, they decide to protect Serperior, which I don't think they could have hurt Ditto, but we use the Terra Blast, which is Terra Normal, to take down Talonflame, and Conkeldurr is able to get off its Guts. And then we Mach Punch Serperior for as much damage as we can get, and we Terra Blast Serperior just to make sure we're getting the KO on it this turn, since we're locked into Terra Blast, so we can't really do much damage to Scizor, but nothing in this Scizor's moveset allows it to do damage into Conkeldurr. So Conkeldurr is going to take some Burn Chip, as the Scizor just is uselessly stalling for a bit here, and it takes us 2 Drain Punches to KO the Scizor because it is Focus Sash, even if the Drain Punch didn't, do more than half, so
Scizor just kind of wasting our time with the burn, and I think if they went for 2 Bullet Punch and got 2 crits, then they might have gotten it, but thankfully that doesn't happen, so we get to Drain Punch them down, and we claim game 2. So for this last game, I'm not quite sure what their adjustment is going to be. Maybe it's that if they're going to lead Superior, they should have something in the back that can beat Ditto as Superior. But we let the first game play out, and they decided to lead Talonflame and Donphan, and I just decided to lead Ceruledge and Amoonguss. And Amoonguss is going to go Terra Water so that we don't get Brave Birded by the Talonflame, but the Talonflame just decides to go for Tailwind and High Horsepower into Ceruledge, but we get to Spore into Donphan, which is pretty nice. We've taken the main damage piece off the field. His Talonflame is doing a lot of heckin' damage with Brave Bird, but it's alright because we get to put that to sleep too, so we're effectively stalling out their Tailwind right now as Ceruledge is getting a bit set up. We Bitter Blade the Donphan because we're faster than it, even though they have Trick or Tailwind set up. And we Pollen Puff into Ceruledge in order to keep it alive. So the strategy is actually working out pretty good right now. We're going to Rage Power with Amoonguss because it's pretty likely one of them wakes up this turn. As Talonflame damages itself, and then we get to Bitter Blade into Donphan, who unfortunately never got to wake up. As their Talonflame, its Tailwind is now styled out. And I kind of thought that they were going to, like, protect with Scizor and maybe try and do some damage, but no, Scizor was just open for the Bitter Blading there. As now we get to bring in Ditto, and Ditto is at full health compared to their Talonflame, who is not at full health. So, they go Terra Water here, not quite sure why, but I set up Tailwind with our Talonflame / Ditto as they Brave Bird into our Ditto. But that's fine, I got the Tailwind up, which is what I really wanted. And I decided to swap in Sableye because I really don't want to lose Ditto here, just in case they have a Pokemon that Ditto would be good against in the back. And we Bitter Blade them in order to get all of our health back on Ceruledge as they Brave Bird into Sableye, and Sableye thankfully lives it, which is pretty nice. And this allows us to Will-O-Wisp into Talonflame to greatly decrease its damage impact. And they set up their own Tailwind with Talonflame, but at this point I think our Tailwind has correctly pressured them, even though they get to Bullet Punch Sableye now, because now they're faster than Sableye. Ceruledge is still not being removed from the field and can easily take out Talonflame, as Scizor is just sitting on 1 HP, and they actually reveal that they're Greninja in the back, which means that they have a priority water move into Ceruledge. However, as we saw in the last video, Water Shuriken sucks. And I forget what item they were on the Greninja, however, they decided to Water Shuriken into Ditto here, which I think is a little strange. I tried to use Ditto in order to pick off their Scizor with the Water Shuriken, since I think even with their Tailwind, the Ditto with the Choice Scarf is probably still faster than the Scizor in Tailwind, so we can Water Shuriken into the Scizor, and if they want to keep Scizor alive, then they have to KO Ditto. And they get the full rolls on Water Shuriken, which means they only need 1 Water Shuriken on this turn, but Scizor can't hurt Ceruledge, so we just decide to close combat into the Greninja, and it does crit, but I don't think that crit mattered since we're +1. As Scizor, again, is just kind of stalling with Protect, even though there's no point in stalling at this point, and Ceruledge is able to clean up the game.
Okay, here we have Ninetales Snow with Glaceon. They also have Body Press Kamalo. So, Ceruledge actually looks really good here, as long as we can get rid of Incineroar. However, I feel like that's going to be a much harder task than I would like it to be. I mean, I guess there's nothing to stop us from starting a Azumarill either. Amoonguss is Terra Electric, which is interesting. We could just lead both Azumarill and Sableye. Ooh, or we could lead Ditto. Ditto into them leading Incineroar would be good because we can copy their Intimidate right off the bat and fake get them out at least once. Let's do Ceruledge and Ditto and hope that we get the right copy for Ditto. And then I think we need a Azumarill in the back. And who else? I guess Conkeldurr in the back makes a lot of sense. Okay, they lead Goldango and Incineroar. And we're going to copy their Goldango, which I think is maybe the preferable one here. Because they can't fake out Ditto, and we're faster than their Goldango. They are Choice Specs. They're Terra Steel, though. They can't fake out with Incineroar, and Ceruledge should be faster. I don't know. Ceruledge has a lot of speed, kinda to outspeed most Goldangos, but they're Choice Specs, so they could have a lot more speed. I mean, I think the play that benefits them most here is to knock off with Incineroar. So what if we just Bitter Blade and Shadow Ball the Goldango? That covers for tearing, which it did. So we get to take their Terra, which is pretty nice. As I Flare Blitz our Ditto. When Incineroar takes a lot of damage. Okay. But now they don't have the Fake Out, so we can bring in Conkeldurr. And Ninetales is up, which it can Aurora Veil, but it really doesn't benefit them too. Their only move is Icy Wind, though, which can't drop our speed. So what if we call them not Moonblasting Conkeldurr? Because I think they'd have to double into Conkeldurr to kill it. I think it's much more likely that they switch out Incineroar here. So I'm going to bulk up with Ceruledge, and let's Drain Punch the Incineroar. Okay, they went for Aurora Veil, and Incineroar did not leave. It knocked off instead. Well, that's bad. Conkeldurr has its guts now. Do I think the Moonblast carries Ceruledge? And I think that answer is yes. But I'm going to Bitter Blade the Ninetales and Mach Punch the Incineroar anyways. Get to Mach Punch Incineroar, what does Ninetales do? Icy Winds. Icy Wind does not take out Ceruledge. Okay, that is so good. Oh, but our Clear Amulet was knocked off. Okay, but the opponent understands that we have Ceruledge in a place where they can't really remove it. And Glaceon does have Shadow Ball, but we can just... Oh, actually, the opponent... I didn't even notice. The opponent actually quit. Okay, time for game 2. Okay, so us leading Ditto there actually did a lot for them as it forced them to Terra right away. So what would they counter with? I mean, I think Incineroar has to start. And the fact that they can Intimidate us right away is not great. Let's do a Azumarill Amoonguss start. And then have Ceruledge and Ditto in the back. Okay, they do start Incineroar and they start Goldango again. Okay. Well, they're perfectly capable of just Make It Raining with Goldango, or they could Trick. The Terra Steel here is not good for us. I really don't think Azumarill's gonna live the Terra Steel Make It Rain. So let's swap in Ceruledge and... actually, let's swap in Ditto here too in the Amoonguss slot, because then we can copy Incineroar and get Intimidate on them. For even if they try to knock off Ceruledge here. Okay, Goldango goes Terra Steel and they Fake Out, and they Make It Rain. So they've used their Terra now. The Make It Rain does so much damage, but now we're pretty safe to Bitter Blade the Goldango slot, because the only thing that can swap in there is Kamo, and we can Fake Out Incineroar. Or we could bulk up and then... Yeah, actually, I think bulk up here is better. Because then we can close combat the Incineroar should the Goldango decide to switch, which I think it should. But let's Fake Out into Incineroar here. Okay, Alola Ninetales comes in. And Incineroar stays. We get the bulk up with Ceruledge, which is good. And we can just Bitter Blade Ninetales, and we could do a Terra Grass. But they should know that I have to swap out with Ditto because I'm Choice Scarf. Ninetales could always go Terra Fire here. I think we close combat the Incineroar and swap into a Azumarill. Okay, they set up the Aurora Veil, and Incineroar lives, man. I hate this VGC cat. They didn't even Terra Fire their Ninetales, so I could have just Bitter Bladed it. Okay, well now we can swap Ditto in for Ninetales, and we can go for our own Aurora Veil, and we can try and get off the Belly Drum. I don't think there's really much... There's not much damage to be had here. The problem with that play, though, is I don't think an Aqua Jet's going to KO the Ninetales. I think we just have to Aqua Jet Incineroar and hope that that KOs. Okay, we at least got the Incineroar. They Icy Wind here, which is fine by me. We're going to swap out Ditto again. And they bring in Goldango. So let's swap in a Amoonguss to take the attack and try and protect out their Aurora Veil. They are Light Clay, so we're not going to get to the end of their Aurora Veil. They decided to bring in Glaceon. Azumarill protects. They Make It Rain. And Amoonguss takes that much. Goldango gets the special attack drop, though. And is Glaceon a Freeze Dry? Is that why it's on the field? No, it just says Blizzard. Let's Terra Water Amoonguss and side Pollen Puff Azumarill and get off the Belly Drum. Make It Rain again. Does a lot of damage, but I really need Amoonguss to hang on here. Okay, Amoonguss doesn't hang on, but at least made it spread damage for Azumarill, so Azumarill could get off the Belly Drum. Not getting the Pollen Puff there, though, really stinks. Because now we can copy Glaceon, but there's not really much point, because no matter what I attack here, I think I just have to hope for the Blizzard misses the thing. Like, that's really the only out. The Aqua Jet just doesn't do enough. Oh, we do KO Goldango, though. And they Shadow Ball into Ditto, but that doesn't do enough.
But now their Snow is up, so they can Blizzard again anyways. So now I think my out is for them to Icy Wind and miss. So we're gonna... The defense boost from the snow here is just too much to overcome. Yeah, the Aqua just doesn't do enough. And they Moonblast correctly. The Shadow Ball misses, but I don't really care. Okay, so now it is our adaptation. Seeing as they were fine leading Goldango and Incineroar on the first try again. Maybe they just want to get lucky with the leads? But let's do Ceruledge and Ditto again. Azumarill really didn't pull its weight in that last battle, so let's bring Conkeldurr again and Amoonguss. They lead Incineroar Amoonguss this time. We can copy their Incineroar, which is good. That's the one we wanted. So we can afford to Terra Grass Bulk Up, and then I think fake out their Amoonguss to keep anything from getting put to... Actually, we could have just Flare Blitzed the Amoonguss. Oh, but they Terra Electric'd it. Okay. Bulk up with Ceruledge. Incineroar's attack is down, so they do knock off our Clamulate. However, they've now wasted their Terra with Amoonguss, so I'm much more comfortable just Bitter Blading that slot and then swapping into Conkeldurr. Bitter Blade does good damage into Ceruledge. Take Rocky Helmet though. U-turn Ceruledge into Glaceon as they clear Smog with Amoonguss. Okay. Now Conkeldurr has that off. I could just Shadow... Oh, they're just gonna Blizzard with Glaceon now. Let's Protect and Drain Punch Glaceon, and hopefully Conkeldurr lives. Oh, I guess I could have Wide Guarded with Conkeldurr, actually. Oh, that's maybe what I should have done. Conkeldurr takes that much damage, and they Snow Cloak miss us! That stinks. that just really stinks. We have to Bitter Blade the Ninetales and Wide Guard here, and hope that they don't Moonblast. They Moonblasted, but we Wide Guard, so as long as they Blizzarded, then... Nope, they Shadow Ball to Ceruledge. Well, getting all the turns wrong here. I legitimately have to bring in Ditto and then copy their Glaceon here. And yeah, we're just kind of stuck now that we're Terra Grass. We really needed to land that Drain Punch in the Glaceon because I think it would have killed it even with the Snow Boost. But man, does that stink. Do we hope for Shadow Ball KOing the Ninetales? Because I think we have to. Okay, they decided to swap in Incineroar, and... we Bitter Blade missed the Glaceon. Man, I still think that would have KO'd the Ceruledge even with the healing. This Glaceon's just so annoying. Well, it happens. Sometimes you lose to the Snow Cloak miss. So, I guess what I should have done differently was that one turn where I could have just KO'd or hit Incineroar with Close Combat. I should have Close Combated the Incineroar, and then I could have Wide Guarded that one turn that they were going to go for Blizzard with Glaceon, but, I mean, the Snow Cloak Mist came into a play, so it's not like I necessarily got that turn wrong, it's just maybe it would have worked out differently with the odds, but not necessarily. Okay, big rain team here with Mouse Ape. How does this team beat Mouse Ape? I think it's by leading Sableye, and who else in the back? I think Conkeldurr right away is good. Actually, no, Conkeldurr's way too slow to keep up here. Let's do Sableye and... Ditto to start. And then we'll use... we can use Ceruledge to kind of beat Annihilape, even though it's Terra Fire. Yeah, I don't think we can use Ceruledge to beat Annihilape. So we have to keep a Azumarill in the back, and... perhaps Amoonguss for redirection and sleeping, and we'll see how it goes. They lead our Okay, so Ditto gets to copy our Caledon, which is nice. Even though Pelipper is Focus Sash, we can just start Electro-Shotting, and we can Will-O-Wisp their Caledon so they can't body press us. I think I like this plan. We get to Electro-Shot their own Pelipper, and if they don't decide to do anything crazy... They Draco Meteor Ditto. What did they do with Pelipper? Okay, Pelipper just Tailwinds, but we can get rid of Pelipper now with Will-O-Wisp into it, and let's maybe keep Ditto around in the back, because they just Draco'd... We could Light Screen with Sableye and then swap a Azumarill in order to get a Azumarill going. I think we do that, now that the Archaludon's down in Special Attack. Count on Electro Shots into... What? Why into... What? Why into a Azumarill? Okay, we're gonna disable you from doing that, and we're gonna Aqua Jet into Pelipper in order to get rid of it. Alright, now we're going for that from our Caledon. But now what do they have here? Okay, they have Mouse Hold. Can Will-O-Wisp the Mouse Hold, and then... not quite sure what we should do. I guess we can Aqua Jet the Mouse Hold for as much damage as we can get. Because I think our Caledon wants to switch. If our Caledon switches to a Monkey, though, things could go bad. So I might just Play Rough into that slot. Let's Will-O-Wisp Mouse Hold and Play Rough into our Caledon. Okay, the population our Caledon is in absolutely everything. Okay, so now our Wincon is stalling out their Tailwind and then body pressing the rest of their team. Because we need Ditto to get off that one hit, or we have to... I guess we can just Encore the Mouse Hold into doing that for the rest of the time. And our Caledon body pressed Azumarill, but Azumarill didn't actually lose that much health. So let's start Aqua Jet. Let's just start getting rid of the Mouse Hold. They pop bombed last time. I thought they beat up, but I mean this is fine too, because it means that they can't... I actually don't know what that keeps them from doing. Maybe I should have disabled the Mouse Hold instead. But they're really attacking Azumarill here. They're all taking burn damage as our light screen turns are chipping away. And we no longer have rain, so it might be a roll if we can KO Mouse Hold here. They're not going to body press into Ditto, but then Ditto copies the wrong slot. I guess it makes the most sense for me to disable here and then protect with the Azumarill so that our Caledon keeps getting those burn chip turns. They Draco Meteor, Sableye. Pump Bomb's currently disabled. And we could lock them into Draco Meteor now. I think we do that with our into our Caledon. And we Aqua Jet the Mouse Hold. Okay, they bring in Goldango here. And Goldango takes that much damage. And they try to Draco into a Azumarill, but we're immune. Oh, Goldango has so much stuff to keep it on the field, though. And we can't get rid of it with Ditto Body Pressed. I can't believe Aqua Jet didn't do that much to Goldango. Yeah, I think we just lose to Goldango here. Unless now we actually have to get Ditto to copy Goldango. Let's disable our Caledon and Aqua Jet the Goldango for as much damage. Okay, Mouse Hold comes in. But now it's no longer boosted. Goldango's nasty pulling, which is actually good for us. We just need to get rid of Mouse Hold. And then we win. Hey, hold on, this is great. Our light screen is gonna wear off. But I kinda want both of these Pokemon to die. So I guess I'll just... You know what, really don't need a Mungus. So let's just swap in a Mungus. And Aqua Jet Mouse Hold. So get rid of that. And then they make it rain. And that gets rid of everything else. Oh, but now... Oh, now Ditto's in the wrong slot, though, because the left side didn't die with Sableye. Yeah, I should have had Sableye die there, even if it was going to take a useless turn. Let's Rage Powder and... I don't know, I guess Light Screen with Sableye? Mungus didn't die. Oh, but, okay, thankfully our Caledon decided to attack into a Mungus there. As now we can bring Goldango, who will copy the... now we can bring a Ditto who will copy Goldango, gosh darn it. And they have Shadow Ball. So we can Shadow Ball into our Caledon, and we have to gamble on what our Caledon's going to do. I think... What do we do? Do we disable their Draco Meteor? I think we have to disable Draco Meteor. Now we Shadow Ball Goldango, and that takes it out. And Draco Meteor was disabled, so now we win! Theoretically. We Encore lock them with Sableye. And they can't do it anymore. Okay, but okay, even if Ditto didn't pick up the KO into our Caledon there, it would have been good. And the opponent hard quits from that, which is heckin' awesome. I'm so happy right now that we absolutely just ruined that person's day. Oh, that's great. Wow, Ditto heckin' came in really clutch there. I'm so glad that they nasty plotted with their Goldango, because there was a shot that they wouldn't KO themselves with the Shadow Ball when we brought back in Ditto, but I think the win con was understood the second that I realized that we can just use their own Shadow Ball with a faster Goldango by copying their nasty plot boost. Alright, well that was the half purple team, and if I'm being honest, this team is not very good because it just has a bunch of pieces that really shouldn't work together. However, this team made me very happy today from just that last battle that we had, so... It was definitely worth the quote-unquote time that I put into making this team. And I even realized in the middle of the battles that Amoonguss is red, Conkeldurr is kind of red, because it has the red nose and the pinkish armbands, I guess, and Azumarill is blue, and you need red and blue to make purple, so this team is half purple, and it's half purple, which is a lot of halves and a lot of, I think that's technically a quarter purple. Somebody add up how purple this team actually is. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, maybe consider leaving a like on the video, and even consider subscribing, because both of those things will help me out an absolute ton, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.